Welcome to Azimuth Podcast. I'm Kimberly McNabb, and joining me is my husband, Barrett McNabb. We are continuing with our presidential candidate series with the latest surprise announcement of the candidacy of Dean Phillips, representative of Minnesota. Let's watch his campaign video.
I'm Dean Phillips, and I'm running for President of the United States of America. And I'm coming to New Hampshire to answer your questions. I love New Hampshire. I spent my summers as a kid in the White Mountains going to camp. Got to canoe the Saco River, learned how to fish, learned how to shoot a gun. Got to climb the presidential range, including Mount Washington. And it's also where I learned to love my country. And that's why I'm back as a candidate for president, in the place where we begin, where presidential candidates stand before you, the voters, walk through the snow, listen to your dreams, hear your concerns, and most of all, discuss how we're going to work together to move to the future. We've got some challenges, that's for sure. We're going to repair this economy, and we are going to repair America as long as we do it together. I'm Dean Phillips, and I approve this message.
What'd you think?
It was very nice scenery. Found it interesting. He had visited New Hampshire previously, but he's from Minnesota, but it was New Hampshire where he learned to love this country.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's setting himself up for the New Hampshire primaries. And,
relatability,
and
like, hey, I know you guys too.
Right, exactly. I mean, he obviously put his name on the ballot to be in the Democratic primary. But yeah, to your point, was this campaign video just for New Hampshire or was it for the United States? I mean, it serves both. It was nice. It's just him walking and very relatable. Mm-hmm. I'd say it's relatable. Yep. Now, obviously, it had music and he talked about what he wants to do, his vision, which is super important, I think. Mm-hmm. And as always, Chris Christie. He's only been running for a week now, and his website. He has a video on his website. So let's get after it, okay? But yeah, let's talk about his stances. Because he's new and doesn't really have a national profile.
I've never heard of him before.
Exactly. So he's taken a firm stand against the pro-Hamas protests that are going on right now, and disagreed with the ceasefire for Israel, and advocated by others, in the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. Phillips also made headlines when he told Pelosi to step down last year.
Well, that's bold.
I know, it sure is. He's concerned that having President Biden as the sole Democratic candidate could pave the way for another Trump presidency. And I've heard that a lot. I really have. I've heard that a lot. But still, the DNC is just digging their heels in. They're not letting anybody else have a seat at the table.
No primary debates, which just...
Yeah,
I think there is precedent for it. It just doesn't seem ethical. It shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
So even though he's not afraid to challenge the status quo with his own party, he is facing some setbacks, notably missing the Nevada primary ballot filing deadline.
Yeah, I thought it was really kind of interesting because he said he was mulling it over for the past couple of months, and he went in and put his name on the ballot for New Hampshire, which is, holds the first primary in the nation status for the past 100 years or so. The DNC has changed it, I think, to have, quote unquote, more relevant states be moved up into the primary season. And so it's kind of been relegated, to... I don't have the calendar on, but I think it's like 7th on the DNC's list. And so President Biden, being not told but trying to play along with the DNC, doesn't have his name on the ballot. So he didn't put his name on the ballot in New Hampshire because they refused to move their primary to be in line with what the DNC wanted their primaries to be. And they're like, look, we've been doing this first in the nation thing for over 100 years, and we want to keep it, so we're going to keep it that date. And so the DNC said, well, we're not going to put Biden's name on there. So having Dean Phillips jump in on that is going to be a strategic move for him. He could win a state. He could win. He could win New Hampshire because Biden's not on the ticket. But if he was,
unfortunately, he missed Nevada.
Yeah, and I was about to say that. So if he was going to do that, why would he not make his mind up like 2 weeks earlier and jump in on the Nevada ballot? So he's gained one, but he's missed one.
Yeah.
Because of either indecisiveness or choosing the right time to do it. But I think it was a strategic miss to not be on Nevada's ballot. So anyway, but his opponents have accused him of using age as the only differentiator between him and Biden. However, there are some issues that he differs on. He thinks funds allocated for international causes such as Ukraine and Israel should be directed more towards domestic issues like border security. And you can't argue with that.
No. And let's not forget his bipartisan efforts. He co-authored the PPP Flexibility Act with Chip Roy, a move that garnered support, including from former President Trump, who signed the act into law.
Well, Phillips was raised in the Twin Cities. His adoptive father passed on a distilling company to him. Well, he never met his biological father because when he was 6 months old, he died in Vietnam. And so never had a chance to meet his biological father. But his mother did remarry, and his adoptive father gave him the Phillips last name after he adopted him. So Phillips then left to build up a Taliniti, a very successful gelato company, making Phillips one of the richest members of Congress. I think Isa from California is one of the wealthiest in Congress as well. He invented the Viper alarm system, where in the 80s, if you came up to a nice car, it would say, "Stop, back up, you're too close to the car."
Those.
Representative Isa invented that.
Oh, cool.
So anyway, his wealth has not made him stuffy. He's still a very relatable guy. He's got a lot of colorful campaign strategies, including flash mobs and mobile office coffee trucks to help him secure his congressional seat. Because he's been serving in Congress for six terms.
Okay, indeed. And his moderate approach in Congress, especially his involvement in the Problem Solvers Caucus, showcases his willingness to work across party lines. On top of that, his advocacy for green energy, diversity, public safety, gun control, immigration reform, and reproductive rights paints a comprehensive picture of his political stances.
And despite his wealth, Phillips faces an uphill battle. He has loaned his campaign an initial $2 million out of I believe, the $80 million of his net worth. But he still needs to navigate the challenges of limited name recognition and the Democratic National Committee's backing of Biden and blocking any primary debates. Many pundits are saying that this run is kind of a practice run, that he's really gearing up for a 2028 run. And because Biden is not on the New Hampshire primary ballot, if he was able to win New Hampshire, he could go into the 2028 as a presidential contender that's won a state. In a Democratic primary. And so that would really give him some street cred. Hey, look, I've already won a state. And so there has been a huge write-in ballot program for Biden. Biden has nothing to do with it. The DNC has nothing to do with it. It's supposedly a grassroots campaign in order to get Biden to be a write-in. So you go in the ballot and it would be, I guess, Williamson, and Phillips on the Democratic slot, because RFK has moved into an independent, so he'd probably be in a different section of the ballot. But still, they're just going to have the two Dems, and then I guess there'll be a line where you can write in a name of your choice, and they're going to run campaign videos to try and get Biden's name to be that write-in. But still, if he could win New Hampshire, it'd be amazing for him. But even if he loses everything else and Biden's still the nominee, he still gets street cred. And so a lot of people saying, look, this is a moonshot of a campaign, but being strategic and snagging New Hampshire because Biden's name's not on there, it's pretty smart.
Yep. And goodness knows he's hardly the only candidate between both sides of the aisle that has a moonshot.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, thank you for watching, and stay informed as the 2024 election barrels towards us. And make sure you check out our other videos as we profiled all the other presidential candidates. Very interesting. And we wanted to give equal coverage to both the right, left, and center side of the aisle. Mm-hmm. So that concludes this episode, and stay tuned after these messages.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy our show with all the stories we share, we would love your support.
And it's as easy as clicking that subscribe or follow button. This will ensure you never miss an episode and keeps us bringing you these important stories. Your support makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for being part of our podcast family.
Thanks, and keep tuning in.